Welcome to today's Mystic Message with Fiona. Today, we're being asked to see ourselves through the eyes of love. Imagine yourself seeing things without all the furballs, without all of our conditioning. Now, what this means is more than a therapeutic dose of releasing trauma, but rather a delve into the heart and a real kind of godlike sense of why you are here. Now, that might sound extremely intense, a quite profound question to throw out so candidly. What we're talking about here is simply asking yourself why you do not see yourselves through the eyes of love. And if you chose to be your own heart, how would you change aspects of your life and how you treat yourself? What we're receiving here is a message more than self-love. It's self-reflection, self-discipline, self-composure, and really a bit of a whip on your own ass, so to speak. Why? Because so often we find ourselves complaining about our life, feeling like we are struggling, we're not surviving in a first world country at times, and many people are falling into the depths of despair. Medication is on the ramp of all ramps. It's the highest it's ever been in the history of medication. And there's nothing completely wrong with that per se. It's more about the reasons that people are feeling pushed to seek outside of themselves rather than within. And some might say that those that seek out without do not have that feeling of fulfillment within. Now, it is a big topic to address because I'm not discounting any need for happiness medication for the sake of example today, but rather a reflection on the why, and not as an individual, more as a collective. Why have we got ourselves into this state of affairs? Why is it this is happening in our world? Many people who are either into God or not into God, into the universe or not, would think, why would God put us in a state like this? And this is where I like to remind people that we have free will in the mix, and the universe is experiencing itself through the expression of you. You are an extension of source energy. Without an extension of oneself, there is nothing to experience. And therefore, by allowing us the free will to make decisions and choices that can affect our happiness levels and our outcome of life, our success, we thereby create as the creator. And we become in control of our lives. Now, people don't like to take this responsibility on board. They're happy to take responsibility for the happiness and success they create. Why is it not that most humans do not want to take responsibility for the unhappiness, the struggles, and the untoward aspects of the human experience? Because it's a lot, right? It's easier for people to blame than to take the responsibility. But I want to take it back to the beginning of understanding that there is reason for everything that happens. It does not mean that it needs to happen or that it was destiny that it happened. It means that it happened based on the creative energies that we have as human beings to shift the energy of our own experience, which in turn shifts their experience of others and the collective. And when people understand that bad things happen to good people, so to speak, because the greater collective energy is the dominant force. And sure, we will see the outcomes of natural disasters play forth when we are in these low vibrational collective conscious energies. Why? Because sometimes you won't shape up until you're pushed to the edge of your limit to wake up. And that's pretty much true for each individual person. It's also true for the collective whole. And we as a world are having so many experiences that are very challenging. Now, what happens in a challenge? We learn, we grow, we hopefully change with that learning for the better. Some people will, some people will not. Yet the messages will continue to come until the human being wakes up to the messages of the universe. When we take responsibility for our personal power, that is to choose to come back to the heart of who we are as a humanity, as humanity, as humans, as people, that in this crazy world of trying to get something and make change, there's only a couple of things that we need to be reminded of. And one of those is the deepest form of happiness comes with connection. Yes, connection with others, yet that is difficult if you don't feel a connection with yourself. So it comes back to that self-compassion and self-kindness, and for others, sharing that experience, because it's one and the same. We cannot express care and compassion for others if we do not know how to do that for ourselves. And that's a fact. It's the same with anything, love or judgment, the good, the bad, or the ugly, so to speak. So, how do we do this? How do we individually make a change in our world? First of all, we accept. Acceptance is not a resignation. It is simply an acceptance of a moment rather than a judgment of the moment. It's not labeling things as good or bad, right or wrong. It is simply understanding that it is. And any labels on anything is always a man made choice, because how we choose to see something will affect the entire vibration, the dynamic, the frequency of the energy that is in that environment. Just think about it. Imagine being in a party where everybody was really happy and high vibing and laughing, compared to a funeral where everybody's grieving and crying. The environment is affected by a collective group of energy. So you do count, because you can simply become more aware of what energy you are dominantly putting out there, what you are adding to the collective consciousness. Because when we add in genuine, unconditional love from this knowingness that we are love, that we are this pure existence, and that anything that is not our pure love is absolutely just pretend. It's an illusion. It's a very real illusion. It's a very true experience to be a human. Yet we can shift our experience, change the perspective of it, and simultaneously shift the experience. That's the magic. That's how miracles happen. And it's very, very possible. So step by step, one by one, each individual simply needs to what? Be their personal best. Because when you're your personal best, you feel your happiness. You feel your happiest. You feel the love. You feel calm, peaceful, and joyful all at the same time. Because you're not judging. You're accepting. That person did that. We don't need to react to it. It doesn't mean that you become a mute, a numb, boring. It simply means you are experiencing and creating without resistance, without the struggle. It's everything that we are striving for. It's the path of least resistance. but people think they know better and they try and take the quick path or whatever path has logically been trained in their brain. Whereas the path of least resistance may appear the easiest, it may appear the most fun, it may not. Yet, the path of least resistance is not about kicking back and going with the flow. It's about going with your heart. It's about stepping forward to what feels right to you from a heartfelt level, not in a selfish way, in a creative way, in a happiness way. And as I've said, if you're creative and happiness and joyful, that is adding to the world. But let's not be fooled by the pretend happiness. There are many people out there who are appearing to be happy and probably thinking they should be happy because they've got the flash car and they've got all the money flowing in from somewhere. And there's nothing wrong with money. We all deserve an abundance of that. But I'm talking about a person, a type of person that there is plenty of, where they are ticking the boxes of what you should do to live your best life according to social media or other schools of thought. Your best life is following the heart and ultimately loving the experience of creating every single day. And to do this, we in turn can happily watch the world have more joyful moments and less disasters. It's not an overnight success, but it is part of the journey of being a human to witness the signs that the disasters represent and go the other way when making the next decision. If life is turning into a kerfuffle, it's probably a sign to do something different, to feel a certain way, to think a certain way, to take action a certain way, and consider the triad of how life works. Use your conscious, subconscious, and higher minds to live as mind, body, and soul, to embrace the entirety of who you are, not simply one out of three. And that way, you will join people with each other and we will eliminate over time huge worldwide tragedy. Now, it may sound far-fetched, but you stop and think about minuscule situations, a family unit, of how individuals are feeling and how they come together and how they affect each other. When you consider one household and then you put them together in a town and then a country and then a world, it all starts with your own energy, your feelings, your choice of emotion based on the perspective you choose to see something in. So I ask you to choose to see from the heart. Choose to see through the eyes of love, starting with yourself, not a selfish, self-absorbed love, a non-judgmental, all-accepting love of the uniqueness that each individual is and the things they do, and watch your life bloom. Watch all the wonderful gifts and opportunities come your way. That's the mysterious, mystic mystery message today. I'm Fiona. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel so that you can receive more of this divine channeled guidance to help you be more insightful about your life and perhaps be inspired to do things differently. Lots of love. Bye for now. See you.